business. We are still doing that after 27 years. Now, I'm Venus Barak, as Bharat mentioned, and I'm the CEO of Fran Global. Very happy to be here. And, Fran Global from past over 20 years has taken the lead in many shapes and forms with regard as far as international franchising is concerned. Even in a marketplace like India, where, of course, there are thousands of domestic brands, both national, regional, local, there is still it's still a very fertile place for international brands, and international consumer brands have been coming to our country from last 35-40 years. And I can say that I'm privileged enough to be working with the industry, and we have brought in at Fran Global over 250 brands, international brands, to India. Now, today's I think starting last year, we started focusing on what we call this leisure business. Because as you can imagine, working in the international franchising business, F&B and retail is a major part of the business. But after COVID, I think there was this huge traction which we saw coming to the family and children entertainment business. And the current market size for family and children in business in India is over $1 billion. $1 billion. Again, that's nothing if you really compare with other markets, because we're such a large market. But it is growing at 16% year on year. 16. And this is in a business, I think you have to see India is a emerging market. It's a market which is evolving very fast. So and I always meet people who say, Venus, we want to invest into businesses which are at that window of opportunity where we can create value, we can raise fund, we can IPO, we can attract investors. So this space right now is, let's say, what typical quick service F&B was 10 years back. In next 5 years, in this family and children entertainment business in India, there will be at least if not more, 500 new locations coming in. And remember, these locations are not a smaller location. We are looking at a really big value creation, both from a real estate standpoint, employment standpoint, as well as consumer standpoint. And if you really see, we have category leaders in every space now, in cinema, in food, in retail. But do we have a category leader at a national level? The first 5 categories we don't have. So there's this huge window of opportunity right now, where if you want to become a category creator, this is the time you do it. This is the time you do it, because if you do this right, then you would get what typically I get response from. You will be able to attract institutional investors. You will be able to attract good international investors. You will be able to attract consumers and create a value creation business, which again, everyone wants, because that's what our market is about. So it's a very interesting time to be in this business. And I can say that Fran Global is very privileged to focus on this sector. Since at least from last 1 year, we have been doing this. And with Chipmunks, I think you have to see, Chipmunks started in New Zealand 25 years back. 25 years back. And just between New Zealand and Australia, between these two countries, where the population, I think population of Australia is about 25 million. New Zealand, I'm not sure, maybe 5 million. Between 35 million people, they have currently 32 stores, and they're opening 30 more stores in Australia. I mean, isn't that so, and this is just in those two markets. Now, when you look at India, I think India with a model like Chipmunk, which is a scalable model, you can really do anywhere from 75 to 100 stores in next 5 to 7 years. So we are looking for those kind of people who can understand where this category is and the kind of value creation. It's a franchise-oriented brand, and so that's how I wanted to send the context. We're very excited. I would bring in now Joshua and Lance, who have joined us from Auckland and Brisbane, respectively, to share their brand and their journey. And once they are done, they will be joined by my colleagues Sam and Nikita and Swiraj to kind of give some Indian context. This is a live session, folks. So again, we do this for you. We don't do this for ourselves. So make this interactive. Let us know. Let us know in the chat box or in the Q&A box which city you're from, what is your background, and any specific questions which you would have. We would love to answer them. So again, welcome Joshua and Lance, and look forward to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Venus. I'm just going to share my screen. Can everyone see that? All good? So I'm Joshua Fry, I'm the operations manager here at Chipmunks head office. I'm going to present the first half of this presentation, and then Lance Spence, the founder, is going to present the second half. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Chipmunks. So for us, our core values are always at the center of everything we do. We want to make sure that we do the right thing, and that it goes with our customers as well. We want to make sure that we put our customers first, because it is about the children. Because if the kids enjoy coming to Chipmunks, then the parents will want to book their birthday parties, they'll want to book their Christmas parties. So we always put a customer first focus. The thing that's really unique about Chipmunks compared to other venues is that we always look to create an active environment for the kids that come through the doors. We want to make sure that we challenge them with their motor skills, that they're learning about educational stuff. There's games in the playland for them, as well as a place for them to make new friends. But as a business, it's not just any business. We're one of the funnest businesses to be a part of. And I've been working here for the last 3 years, and I can honestly say this is the funnest business to be a part of. We've got a huge, big vision, and I'm going to go into that soon. But our mission is to be a global brand that will be leading the space when it comes to indoor play. So for us, our brand values are really at the center of everything we do. I'm just going to touch upon a few of them here, but health and safety is really important to us as a business. This is what separates us from the other competition, is that we provide all the resources for all of our franchisees. We make sure that they don't have to try and figure it out. We have an online portal where we give them the training videos, the lessons, all the information that they need to do, so that when you do become part of the Chipmunks family, you really are buying a franchise that is comprehensive. We're continuously being an innovative brand. We don't stay static. We make sure that we look after our franchises, that we're getting the latest and the greatest technology for our venues. And like I said, families are at the center of our business, and there's huge scalability options here for it. So just a little bit about our history. We started in 1996 at the bottom of New Zealand. So a bit of context, New Zealand at the bottom is a tiny little town called Dunedin, and it quickly grew. The vision for Chipmunks was so contagious, and it grew to the top of the North Island in 2001. One thing that's always been very consistent about our history is that Lance is a person that always invests back into his business. So with every 10 years, we do a sit down, we look at, is the brand working? Are we making sure we've got the best playground? And I really see this compared to other competition like Lollipops and Crocs, other big indoor playground companies. They can't compete with us because Lance is always making sure that he's investing back into his business. In 2008, we launched in Australia, and then we quickly launched a master franchise in Indonesia. And like we just said before, we're seeing huge growth happening over in Australia and New Zealand. And we're really excited coming out of this COVID time is that we're seeing huge spike and huge inquiry coming in. And we're anticipating such rapid growth that we actually moved our head office to Auckland City, which is the largest city in New Zealand, so we could be closer to our Australian franchisees and soon to be Indian franchisees. So we've got 14 franchises in Australia and 18 in New Zealand, and we've got 13 more in the pipeline for next year. So it's quite an exciting time to become part of this Chipmunks family. And like I said, we're seeing huge growth happening. So for us, what is the key to the secret for Chipmunks is that as we look for the right people, we don't make sure that we bring anyone into the family. We want to find people who are passionate about the brand. So I'm just going to quickly go over a few of these things. Is we want to find people who are passionate about working with children, because it's the children who go then tell the parents, I want a birthday party at Chipmunks. I want to go to Chipmunks on the weekend. So that is the key secret to it all. We want to find people who are self-motivated, hardworking, great time management. And like I said before, we really value health and safety, and that is what separates us from the competition, is we make sure we provide that clean, safe, and inviting environment for kids, because that is a huge thing that gives that peace for a parent, is to know that their kid is playing in the cleanest playland that they could possibly go to in Australia and New Zealand. And we also want to find people who love the Chipmunks brand. We're very passionate about it. I love my job, and Lance loves Chipmunks too. And we want to find people who have that same passion as we do. So what makes Chipmunks a great investment? A proven business model. We've been around for 28 years. We have a great support team. We have them based in Australia and New Zealand. We provide comprehensive training. Like I said, we have an online portal where franchisees can log in at any time that they need to, watch training videos, learn the lessons that they need to. They can even do quizzes. We make sure that the 28 years of knowledge is easily accessible to our franchisees. We're building a brand across the world, and soon we're excited to launch in India. And we have a niche market. And the thing about Chipmunks that separates us from the other competition is that we know our market and we do it really well. It also means that we don't have 16-year-olds running around with 1-year-olds. It means our incidence rates are so low, we barely ever have to deal with it, because we know our market and we can appeal to that audience. We have great supplier relationship. And like I said, Lance is the person behind the brand who always makes sure that he's putting the business first, that he is doing the right thing. So what you get for your investment, again, I'm just going to touch upon a few of these things and we can talk more about in the Q&A, but you get marketing resources. It's all available via our online portal. The license to use the Chipmunks brand. We do national promotions. We provide the initial training when a store opens with there, as well as the ongoing training, dedicated support, and our franchise portal, which I'll talk about later. But these are just some of the things. Obviously, there'll be more that we could talk about in the Q&A. So now to more the exciting bit, the bit that kind of sells it all, and that is the images of our brand. So for us, it's really important that when a kid walks through those Chipmunk stores, that it's a warm and inviting place for them to be. We use a lot of rounded edges. It makes it more appealing to the kids. We also use a lot of acrylic sneak hole so that the kids can look through while they're waiting in the queue, that they can get excited and be like, oh, I'm going to go on, which slide am I going to go on? This is all what we do at Chipmunks. We're continuously looking through the lens of a child. We're not just here to chuck a playground in. We want to make an experience that a kid's going to remember, because those kids could potentially become our future franchise partners. We use a lot of animated stuff of Charlie to engage with the children as well. We use a lot of high contrast. We want to make sure our venues really stand out, and we're really proud of our brand colors. And we use a lot of rounded edges, use a lot of digital signage as well, so that way we can really promote certain key items that we need to promote. The other thing about joining Chipmunks is that Lance knows his kitchen very well. Lance and Kira have been working in the kitchens themselves. So when they design the floor plan, they know exactly which is the most efficient place for everything to go. So when you get a kitchen with Chipmunks, it's not just an oven chucked in one corner. It has been designed to be the most efficient on those busy and slow days. So our party rooms, we like to keep things quite simple, because when a kid books a birthday party at Chipmunks, they can choose the theme, and I'll show a little bit more about that. But we want to make it into a place that if they book a jungle theme, that it kind of feels more like a jungle with all the party wear. And we're actually looking at new technology in this space as well. So with our playgrounds, we're very proud of them. Here's a render of our latest playgrounds that we'll be installing in the 13 franchises that will be opening next year. But we really want it to feel like a world of Charlie. So you'll see these big yellow arches, but the goal is that when the kids walk through those yellow arches, they feel like they're being transported to another world, and that's Charlie's world, because we're proud of our mascot. I've often seen kids go down the street, they see Charlie and they know it's Chipmunks, and we really believe there'll be that brand value in India as well. So we've got a space station, we've got a tree house, we've got a jungle, under the sea pirates, where it's all part of Charlie's world. We even got a superhero Charlie in there. But the thing about our playgrounds, which are really different to other competition, is we know what works and what doesn't work. We have great supplier relationship, and we've designed it so that way, if the 1 to 5-year-olds are playing, they're in a safe area. Anyone over 5 is in a different area. It's very strategically designed, and even Lance himself signs off on all the playgrounds because we want to make sure we're putting the best value for our franchise in there. So I'm just going to go into a few more little things and then I'll pass over to Lance. But we love our brand and we have Charlie across everything, across all of our party wear. So that when a kid books a birthday party, they'll get a set. It will be, say, for example, a unicorn hat, unicorn themed stuff. We always change our themes out ever so often, so we keep things fresh. But one thing is always consistent. It doesn't matter if it's a princess, a unicorn, Charlie is there. And what we do with any changes we do a lot of research, trialing and testing. So when it goes to launch, the franchises know that it'll be sure to be successful. We always make sure that we're catering to all different types of kids. And we use a lot of merchandise in our store. We use them our birthday party packages. So we make sure that everything has multiple values to it. So we don't ask our franchisees to buy a plush toy Charlie to sell at the counter. We ask them to buy it so that it can be sold at the counter, using the birthday party packages, or even in private venue hire. So we always change things out. We want to make sure that every time a kid comes to Chipmunks, that there's a new merchandise item available to continuously have repeat value for the customers. Again, bringing into our brand look, we're really ahead of the curve when it comes to brands like Lollipops or Crocs in Australia, which is not, it can't even compete where we are because we make sure everything is very consistent down to how the colors come out, the high contrast, the wording is all done by head office. So our franchisees don't need to worry about it all. They can simply go on the portal, download the signage that they need and get it sent to the printers. And we do all the brochures for them. They don't need to stress. They just need to say, this is what I need, and it's all done. Like I said before, we use a lot of digital signage. And the great thing about our system is it means that if we change our recipes, which we've recently just added 2 more items to our menu, we can control it all from head office. We say to our franchisees, hey, this is the date that we're looking to launch. And then the changes happen live. And so we'll have it all animated. So we use 3 screens in our cafe area, which highlight the food range. We also highlight party packages in the cafe area as well. So when parents are sitting down, they can see party packages that are available. And like I said, we're really proud of Charlie. We even have him animated and interacting with the content. And so to kind of wrap it all up about the brand is that all of this we make available to our franchisees. We have a great portal which is built at head office. So with that way, if we want to launch something, we make it instantaneously accessible to our franchisees. If you wanted to do a Halloween party, you could go on the portal and you could download a whole pack. You would have the copy, you'd have the posters, you'd have the social media. But it's not just about marketing. It comes down to training as well. If you need to have a refresh on how to do something, or you need to do some staff training, there's training videos available on there as well. All down to support what's happening. We post on there, almost like Facebook. We post on there and be like, this is what's happening. We're a very transparent company because we value feedback from our franchisees. And like I said before, it comes back to our core value. We want to do the right thing. We want to do the right thing for our franchisees, the right thing for the business, and the right thing for our customers. So thank you for listening to me about that. I'm now going to pass on to Lance, who's going to talk about the business model, and I'll just move the slides.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much, Joshua.
Joshua.
Welcome, Lance. This was great. First of all, great job, Joshua.
Yeah,
Welcome,
well done,
Lance.
Joshua. Thank you. Yeah, welcome everyone. I'll just go through the business model and the financials just to show you how our operation works. So basically our revenue sources are, pay for play, cafe, birthday parties, private venue hire, and merchandise. So that's sort of the rough percentages of an average store to give you an idea of where our revenue source comes from. And here's our visitors in Australia. So this is a Queensland store. So you can see the peak months, the non-peak months, our peak times, which is 10 to 2. We mainly cater to young mothers and young children under the age of 11. Our main customer base is sort of that 3 to 8 year olds. So we really focus on those areas. And you can see that two-thirds of our turnovers in the weekend in New Zealand and Australia. Monday to Friday is about a third of our turnover. Obviously, Australia is quite good because you can see in the peak months here that December and January are quite busy. So the warmer the climate, the more it drives people inside, especially with young children. They don't want to go out in the heat. So that's the benefit of the warmer climates in Australia, and obviously India will be the same. But you can see the turnover and the peak hours and so forth. Yeah, so we run our business model. So we run our cost of goods between 18 to 23% of our turnover. So obviously that's our sort of cost of goods. So our party wear, our food, our drinks, and so forth. So that's sort of the benchmark. I mean, I'm not sure about India. I guess that the food in India might be cheaper than it is in Australia and New Zealand because it's very expensive over here. So we'd be probably higher in those those percentages than India will be. The wages, obviously, wages are a big one in New Zealand and Australia. So in Australia, we have time and a half on Sunday. So on Sundays, we only open 10 to 4 in Australia because we have time and a half. And the average wage in Australia and New Zealand is $25 an hour. So we have really good rostering systems and processes to try and drive our wages down as much as we can. But once you're getting up to that $2 million mark, your wages are probably around that 16 to 18%. But that's sort of 25% at that first million, and then after that it goes down every 500,000. It goes down by 4 or 5%. So that's sort of how it works in New Zealand and Australia. Yeah, when we select the site, so we look at rent to turnover. So we estimate what the store will do in turnover, and then we try and make sure that we focus on our rent to turnover and get our rents right. Like, we have a policy at Chipmunks that we will not put anyone into a lease that we're not prepared to sign ourselves. We'd rather walk away from the site than do that. So that's very important to us. So very, very important that we get the rents right. And obviously, just going back to the wages and the prior side of it, the Indian wages will be obviously a lot lower than our wages in New Zealand and Australia, because you're not paying $25 an hour over there. You don't have to have any more staff. So yeah, that just on that side, it'll be a big advantage. I'm not sure what the rents were, but it seems like if we go into a shopping centre in Australia, the rents will be pretty similar to Australia and New Zealand. And then the operating costs, so that's a franchise fee and your power and your phone and all those bits and pieces. That's sort of between 15 to 20% of the turnover. So yeah, so that gives you a bit of an idea there. And then the operating profit. So when you're a lower turnover in a smaller store in a regional area with a low population base, like we've got stores in New Zealand that have been there for 20, 25 years, and they've only got a population of 30,000 people. They do after school care and holiday programs, but their profits are a bit lower. But as you get up over that $1 million mark, that's when your profit starts to increase. So we get up to, on a $2 million turnover, we'd get a 40% profit. So in Australia and New Zealand, just to give you an idea, it costs about 1.1 to 1.2 to fit out a store. I'm guessing in India it will be a lot less. So that'll be a big advantage. And we would expect that if we do a similar turnover to our stores in Australia and New Zealand, our new stores, we would expect that your investment could be returned in 12 months, which is pretty good. But in New Zealand and Australia, we return our investment in 18 months to 2 years. Yeah. So what I'd like to do, that this is a Q&A. So any questions you've got about the franchise, anything you want to know about ourselves and the brand, we've been around for 28 years, and we've gone through many phases in our life. We've evolved and changed. We've changed the brand 4 times. So, like Joshua said earlier on, we always strive to get the best play equipment with the new technologies. We're putting a lot of new technologies into the play equipment, immerse rooms and glass rooms and, for LED floors and, all that sort of technology is moving through. And we're looking at ways of, dressing up our party rooms to take it to that next level. But the technology is changing so fast, and it's one thing we do. We make sure we keep up with the technology. We have a great tool system, great website, Facebook and social media side. So that's Chipmunks.
Thank you, Joshua. Thank you for the detailed brief about the commercials and the financials. So I have Nikita and Samarth from our team who will also give the Indian breakdown of the commercials and the financials, and also Samarth will also give us a bit of brief about the expansion plans which we have for India, so that the investors are aware that which are the cities we are looking out for, what is the model we are looking out for, and that will definitely be the most important focus that we are looking for expanding in India. So Nikita, you can share the financials, and after that, Samarth, you can take us through the expansion plans which is there. And then I will request all of you that, see, this is a very interactive session. Please keep sharing your questions, because if you don't ask, we will not be able to understand whether you have understood the brand or not. The brand founder himself is there. The brand operations manager is there. He's managing 30 plus units. So they're the best people to answer about your queries which you have. So we would like to hear more from you. Please keep interacting in the Q&A box. Nikita, you can take this ahead. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Swaraj. And thank you, Joshua and Lance. I think the presentation was really great. Now, I think to all the partners who have joined the call, what we'll present is how do we project the entry of Chipmunk Playland here in India. So what kind of commercials it will attract. Since this model is more towards a macro summary that we are providing for, so anyone who would like to understand into the detail of the investments, the revenue, so our team and I think Chipmunk's team would love to have a session with as a one-on-one session for the briefing in terms of the detailed parameters. Right now, if we'll speak about a particular center, we are looking for a center somewhere between 8 to 10,000 square feet, which is roughly between 700 to 1,000 square meter. What is an average we would also see into the existing centers for the brand. The project cost, which would be levied, is somewhere close to 3 CR, where the franchise fee payable will be 20 lakhs and the design and architect fee, because these centers are so these centers are not something which is very easier to be prepared. It comes with a complex design and everything. So rather than you going for a very high investment into designing, the brand is only going to charge you for a 5 lakh rupees, and the entire protocol SOPs for the designs and something is something the brand will provide, because that is the standardization we want to create. The setup cost would be at somewhere around 1.5 CR, which you could see easily into your interiors, your designing, decors, lightings, and everything. Equipments would be at a cost of somewhere close to 1.3 CR, and the entire list of equipments, what could be or what could not be the part of that entire premises, will be provided by the brand. And these equipments need to be verified and vetted by the brand, because the quality of equipment is the essential I think core of the business. Apart from that, white goods, which could communicate in terms of IT, your POS and everything, could be another cost of 5 lakhs. And additionally, business permits, licenses or corporations would be for 50,000. The initial advertisement and the pre-market promotions could be somewhere between 2 to 3 lakhs. So overall, somewhere around 3 to 3.25 CR is an project cost that we have projected for the Indian market. I think Joshua and Lance has already advised us that how the revenues are collected in these premises. So our revenues are going to come through the play. We also accommodate for event and parties. These events could be your birthday parties and the other events. And there will be a component for cafe that becomes an F&B component, which I think is the prevalent component that is required because most of the kids are the people who are we going to cater to. So around 1,000 rupees on an average is something you can see as a particular kid or a customer paying us or as a bill value for them. For events and parties, on an average, 40,000 rupees is something that people would spend, where we say that an average event could be for 10 kids at spending for rupees 2,000 each. A cafe bill could be somewhere around 500 rupees, which is an average what we have communicated here. If we talk about our average revenue, so on a macro level, if we'll communicate, 10 CR annually is an average revenue that we can see the partner generating, which is roughly around 1.7 to 1.8 million Australian dollars. In terms of expenses, so the royalties that you will be paying to the brand will be 7%. The cost of sales in terms of your equipment servicing or anything could be somewhere around 8%. The staff cost could be around 11%, with all your other expenses, your operational expenses, administrative expenses, rentals could be another 45 to 48%. Now, these expenses we have considered to the highest level because we wanted to understand what is the maximum expenses that a partner could bear at a conservative revenue cycle. Also, 3 to 4% is the marketing expense that you will be incurring in terms of social media activities or all the local marketing activities, which brings your EBITDA margin, which as a net operating margin, for somewhere between 20 to 22%. Now, please be advised, this margin could always be expanded. This has been based on a conservative revenue approach, where we say that even on the higher level of expenses and a conservative revenue, you can produce close to 20 to 21% net margin from the business, where the payback on the investment that you put in could be somewhere around 2 years and a contract period of 5 years with the brand. This basically is the revenue and investment cycle that we have concluded for a unit franchisee. Though Chipmunk, when we want to bring them into Indian markets, we want to appoint area developers who can actually develop a certain region for at least 10 units, where one of the unit could be their own unit, and additionally 8 to 9 units is what they can sub-franchise. So the master franchisee fee that we are going to collect from an area developer is close to 1 CR, against which you get the right to operate your own store and sub-franchise close to 8 to 9 stores. And additionally, these partners would have additional revenue sources, which can be discussed once you want to have a detailed discussion with our brand. Roughly between 22 to 24 months could be an average payback period on the total investment that you put in, with a contract period of 10 years. So this is the entire structure. Now, anybody who would have any questions, I think our Fran Global team and the brand team, we can take up all these questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikita. Thank you for the detailed presentation on the brand. So, Samarth, if you'd like to give us a bit of idea on the expansion plans, so that
Sure.
there are a lot of investors and queries which are coming in, which is a great news for us because Joshua, generally we don't get on the call. So I received 2 calls right now which I had to disconnect. So thank you whoever has called and thank you for showing your interest. We will be in touch with you, and my colleague Samarth will take you through the expansion plan which is there. And you can keep sharing your contact details along with us. Send a message to me, or directly you can send an email to me. We will get in touch with you ASAP. Yes, Samarth, please.
Thanks, Suraj, for that. And thanks, Nikita. So as Nikita was just informing us, it's very important to understand the nature of the business over here and how we are also projecting. India is one of the youngest countries in the world, which gives us an opportunity, and one of the fastest growing economies in the world, which gives us a very large market to cater to. There are 250 million plus people or the population which is under the age of 10 in India. So that gives us a very big market to penetrate into. Whereas when we are looking at expansion partner, as Nikita was mentioning, though we have opportunities of maybe 10 and more units, that is where maybe we can have further discussions to understand what kind of level of partnership we are looking into. Typically, what we expect our partner is to handle a larger area or a geography which is there, be it a state or a zone. And preferably, they are the people who are looking at maybe expanding the franchise network or the Chipmunks network by themselves into the market. People who are coming with a prominent business background or similar industry background, or getting into entertainment space industry, which is one of the fastest growing industries in India. So if you're looking at maybe having your own partnership with Chipmunks brand and expanding yourself across multiple regions and cities and territories and areas, that is definitely something that we would also encourage our partners to look at a multiple level or a bigger area partnership for us. Whereas we've also seen how a individual unit franchisee network also works. Where what we are looking into are key cities. So there are key metro cities where Delhi NCR, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune, Ahmedabad, all these become your core cities that, yes, becomes a very good base for any partner who is looking at expanding and taking up the opportunity to expand the brand presence across multiple geographies and a bigger area as well. So we can start off with these 8 base metros as our focus areas and focus points for expansion. These contribute to 1/3. So the top 15 cities in India contribute to 1/3 of the population and half of the GDP. So that's the level of disposable income and also the population that you're expecting us to have in the brand and the outlet over there, and the day-to-day spending power would be much higher. What we need to also understand is people are spending a lot, parents are spending a lot of money on their children, their birthday parties and others. So it's not only about the play area, but also the events and the birthday parties and also the interaction that they're able to get. That is the one-stop destination that Chipmunks provide to all the parents and everybody as an opportunity. So yes, your metros become your top cities, but also your top tier 1 cities as well: Jaipur, Nagpur, Chandigarh, Tri-City area, and Patna and others also become good opportunity later on, because they also have a very good population and the opportunity which is there for us to have presence in. Typically, when we look at locations, primarily would be your mall locations. Those are ideally the location where you not only get people over the weekend, but also get regular traffic and footfall as well, where people go to the malls, have that kind of experience, and also becomes a destination for people and parents to take their children to as well. So it provides a very good revenue opportunity for you both on the weekends and the weekdays. To have that kind of consistent flow, and especially with the weekends coming into and contributing a lot of revenue, as compared to, say, for example, Australia or New Zealand, where maybe the climate plays a lot of role in maybe seeing the numbers. India, especially with certain cities, would give you more flexibility to have a year-round sales and revenue being generated because of the nature of the weather and others, which is there. Yes, there would be certain peaks that you'll see in certain months, but however, over the year, throughout the year, you'll get a consistent revenue and opportunity to earn a lot of money, which is there, especially with the festivals and others coming in. That provides us more opportunities. But yes, birthdays are consistent throughout the year, and people and parents are looking for such destinations which are there. So yes, as an opportunity, we look at these premium malls, we look at the top grade 1 malls, which has space of 8,000, 10,000 square feet at the minimum, so that you get a proper representation of the brand and the opportunities that we can have provided over there, because the setup becomes very crucial, the ambience and the experience becomes very crucial for people to keep coming back to us over there. So yes, as a revenue opportunity, as we saw, it is a very good opportunity for you to earn over a period of 10 years of a relationship that we're looking into, especially for a master franchisee with at least 10 units. You have a scope to have multiple more units 20, 20, 30, depending on the partnership and the experience that you'll also develop with us. But starting off with the capacity of 10, we can also look at strategic locations and see what kind of support. So the support is very crucial for all our partners. That is where Chipmunks and their dedicated team and their experience comes into the picture. You will get the right support throughout your journey, be it at the beginning and also continuously throughout your journey and the partnership which is there. So that is something you can always expect, that the team would provide you the right training, provide you with the right setup, provide you with the right tools to have a sustainable business model. So what we'll do is we'll open it up. As Swaraj mentioned, we're getting a lot of questions. We'll take up the questions one by one and go through them as well. Any questions, please put your questions in the Q&A box and we'll be able to take it up. So Swaraj, I'll hand it over to you to lead the Q&A session.
Thank you, Samad. Thank you for giving a detailed brief about the expansion plans which we have. And I would quickly like to take some questions, Joshua, from some of our investors who are already there in the call right now. So Cynthil D'Souza has a question that you have mentioned. Trainings will be through online videos. So will not be there any physical training in India by your team? So Joshua, would you like to answer it, or I can take it for you?
Yeah, no, we'll answer it. No, definitely. We would do we would like the training in an operation training in a New Zealand or Australian store for a start, to get them over there, have a look at what we've got. We can show them around a few stores so they understand it, and we do the training there. But we would definitely, for the first stores they open, would definitely send some trainers over to India to open the store and work with them. Yeah, for sure.
Correct. So at least the proof of concept or the first flagship store, they will definitely be present to do the training, because that's where we establish the brand in India.
Yeah, that's very important. Very important. Yeah.
Then there is a query from Harpreet. Harpreet, from which city you are? If you can just put it in the Q&A box, it will be easier for you to get connected back to you. So the investment part, we have already talked about it. It's around 3.2 CR for a single unit investment. Ronak Jain, what are your geographical expansion plans? So yes, we have plans for South India. If you have a 8,000 square feet area, which is there in a prime city, because that's the place from where this brand would like to start from. Because see, the proof of concept and the first flagship property has to be in a metro city, or has to be in a area where it becomes an identity and a flagship store for the Indian market. So we are open for all the cities, and definitely the first store is what we are looking out. But if there is any opportunity with any investor who are there on this call and they have other opportunities, or they are looking out for other cities, please don't hesitate to be in touch with us. We would like to have a talk with you, understand with you what is the opportunity, discuss with you, and then eventually, if required, I can get you on a call along with Joshua also for a tri-party meeting to understand what is more in-depth requirement for the area which you have or the brand which you have.
So just to add on to that, Ronak, you can also look into South, as Swaraj was just mentioned. You have Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. So all these are top cities and good opportunities for you to expand into. Creates a very good base for expansion. And also when we're looking at maybe a bigger partnership, which is our prime focus, is maybe finding that partner at an area level where they are able to develop this geography and this area zone for us. South, the Chennai, Hyderabad and Bangalore will give you a very strong base to expand into the southern markets and tap into these top cities, which is there. Yes, sir.
Sure. So Cynthil has another question. Are you open for single unit or only area level? So Cynthil, we are open for both. But if you are taking a single unit for a city, we will definitely not immediately give the area rights to someone else out there. We will give an opportunity to operate the brand, and maybe for a period of 6 to 8 months, if you want, we can upgrade you to a area developer for that same region which is there. So thank you all for your questions and queries. We'd love to be in touch with you. Joshua, I would like to thank you for coming in and attending the show and the session out here. So if you can give a closing note for all the investors and our team members and our IFCs who are there on the call, We will go ahead and close the webinar after this. Bharat, you can drive this ahead from here.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, Joshua, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, thank you guys all for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Lance, on a closing note?
Yeah, I think it's really important how the brand sells. We're a very visual brand, so it's very important that you can see a store. So anyone that wanted to come to Australia or New Zealand and look at a store, probably more Australia than New Zealand, to Sydney or to Brisbane. We could show them around some stores, 2 or 3 a day round, and show them around a few stores. But yeah, visually, it sort of, once you open a store and do it properly, you generate a lot of interest from that. So that's where, because it's a very visual business, and sometimes people can't visualize what it's like until they actually visit one.
Thank you. Yes, Bharat, back to you.
Right, so thank you so much. That's it for the day. I would like to thank every panelist for joining this webinar, and we really appreciate Joshua for the detailed presentation and sharing the business opportunity for the potential partners. I would also like to thank Nikita and Samarth for simplifying the financials for the brand, and it was quite easy to understand. And to the viewers, in case if you want to have a one-on-one discussion with the brand, please call us on our hotline number, that is 9717-683838. You can also write us at feedback@franchiseindia.in. We will again come up with a new brand and we'll explore another business opportunity. Till then, take care and have a nice day ahead. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Bharat. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, team. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.